everyone, it's Jenny at jccards.com, and today I'm joining you as part of a 3-day blog hop celebrating the new Stamp of Approval collection release from Catherine Pooler Designs, Tropically Yours. My card today features the Cabana Tiles dies included in the collection, and I'm using them to create a stained glass window on my card, which allows the light to shine completely through and gives a great effect using Nuvo jewel drops. To start off, I've taken a card base created from white card and I'm die cutting 5 of the tiles from both the front and back of the card base itself. It helps if you don't snip apart the dies first off, and that way you don't have to line them all back up again in order to create the window. I die cut the set of tiles from the front panel and then I'm placing them back into the panel I've already die cut and running them through my machine again so that the hole on the back of the card base perfectly lines up with the front. I would add that there are 2 additional tiles included in the die set which I have already snipped off here. I'm then using some glue runner to adhere a sheet of embossing plastic, although you could use any clear plastic, inside the card behind the front window. This allows the light to shine completely through the Nuvo drops when we add them, but creates a solid base for inside the card. Off camera, I've die cut the Cabana tiles 4 more times from thick white cardstock and adhered them all together to create an almost chipboard-like piece that I can then use as the base for dropping in my Nuvo drops. It's important that you have something that is sturdy and sufficient enough to hold the liquid, almost like a well. So I used 4 layers for each tile, with an additional tile to be added on top once the Nuvo drops have dried. I'm then popping the tile chipboard pieces into the holes on the card I've created. When you add the Nuvo drops onto the acrylic plastic, it actually will not stick and you will be able to peel it off again. As you'll see, I changed up the card a little bit later on. I'm now going to show you a close-up, and I apologise for the video quality here. My iPhone doesn't like zooming in so close. I'm going to show you a slowed down version of me adding the Nuvo drops, and it really is pretty straightforward. I do have another video on this that I've done in the past, but I wanted to show you in a bit more detail how I do it. So you take the Nuvo drops, and I'm using the jewel drops here because they dry clear, which will allow the light to shine through. And I'm simply adding enough liquid to completely cover the base of the compartment that I'm adding them into. And you don't have to be particularly careful here because we're going to add another tile over the top that will hide any mess. What you want to ensure is that you don't have any big leaks or lumps onto the border itself, because then when we add our top tile that would appear quite lumpy and bumpy. But inside it's not too much of a problem if you create a bit of a mess. And then you need some sort of stick. You could use a cocktail stick. I'm using my craft pick. Something small that you can use to pull into the corners of the holes. So on these tile dies, the corners of the triangles get very small and narrow, so a craft pick is perfect for just pulling them out. I also would recommend that if you see bubbles appearing, as you can see in that purple tile there, leave them where they are. I know that when we use glossy accents or Nuvo drops for embellishments, we like to pop the bubbles, but I actually find that the bubbles for this technique adds a great look and more of a feel of old stained glass windows. And here's what it looks like when it dries. You can see on one side the Nuvo drops sink down slightly, but where I've actually peeled them off of the window plastic, they're perfectly smooth. And for that reason, I actually ripped apart the initial card, created it again exactly as you saw me create before, pulled off all the pieces, and I'm going to pop them back in the opposite way round so that the flat piece that's been against the plastic is facing upwards. And I'm just dropping them back in. You'll have seen that I die cut an extra panel which will go inside the card, and it perfectly covers up the glue which you can see where we've stuck the window plastic on. I've then die cut the tiles one more time from Midnight Black cardstock by Catherine Pooler, and I'm using spray adhesive here, hence why they're going on so easily. I've sprayed the backs of them and I'm laying them over the top of the tiles, and that will cover up any imperfections from where we were adding our Nuvo drops. One note of caution: 3 of 5 of these tiles are not mirror images, so you need to be careful that if you flipped over, as I did here, the tiles, that you also make sure that you adhere the tiles back to front. So where you would think to add the glue onto the front of the tile, you need to add it to the back. I hope that makes sense. And here's a look and a quick glimpse of my craft room of what it looks like when the light shines through the full window. And you can see where the bubbles are. I think it gives a really cool look. To finish my card, I'm using the Good Vibes border stamp from the Stamp of Approval collection, and I'm stamping it in Midnight Black Catherine Pooler ink onto white cardstock. I've trimmed it out and popped it up on foam tape, and that finishes the card. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please check out the blog post where I have 2 more cards featuring the Cabana Tiles dies and more information about the Stamp of Approval collection. The link address is in the description box below. Please subscribe to my channel and have an awesome day. Bye!